What's going on, everyone? Welcome back along to the channel and welcome back along to the Global Rugby Challenge, and we have another round complete, which means there's one thing left to do for round 8 of season number 2, and that is, of course, Team of the Week. The best players leading in each category, as well as the starting 15 of best performers coming out of round number 8. So if you didn't tune into the whole round, here's a little recap of what happened throughout round 8. We had 3 fixtures, of course, with a one big sub-clash for the Flakers up against the Dragons. The Dragons, remember, were 0-1 going into this match after losing to the Guardians, who also themselves lost to the Flakers. So all things pointed here to a big Flakers victory. It didn't turn out that way at all, and the Celtic Dragons came away with a 21-14 victory over the team that had started off fantastically, and of course, the Season 1 champions. 21-14, the Dragons picked up their first subscriber clash victory. The other 2 results for round 8 saw the Crusaders going down 31-14 to the Guardians of the Crib, and the round came to a halt with the All Flakes sliding past Wasps. It was comfortable in the game, the scoreline not fully reflecting that. 21-14 was the full-time score in that final game of round number 8. Round 9 is next up, and that'll be in the next episode of the Subscriber Series videos. We have 3 matches this round as well, with another big subscriber clash. The first one featuring the All Flakes, but that is the 3rd match of the round. It all kicks off with the Exeter Chiefs, who are sitting woefully at the bottom of the table, going up against the Celtic Dragons, who will be looking to build on that victory over the Flakers and continue their romp up the table, looking to be contenders this season. The Dragons. The Flakers are in action against the best AI side in the competition, the Crusaders, who, well, will be coming off that big loss to the Guardians as well. And then finally, it's good to see it, the All Flakes are at home, and they are up against the Guardians of the Crib. The final subscriber clash for the Guardians, who said 1 loss to the Flakers, 1 win against the Dragons, and this is going to tip them whether they're going to have a good season in those top 2 spots you'd expect, or they could fall into those, well, the second 2 of the 4, I should say, if they do not pick up this victory. So a huge match here for the Guardians, but also the All Flakes all want to get their big clash off to a good start, where they close out their season, the last 3 rounds, up against all 3 subscriber sides. So before we get into the Team of the Week starting 15, we have a look at the league leaders for 4 different stats. As we always do each and every week, we kick things off with the leading try scorers, and this is quite amazing how this is going. Tries, we had Nanukisi, and you remember about 2 rounds ago, storming out of the blocks, the only man on 4 tries, the second most was on 2, and everyone was all on 1 or 2 tries. It was widespread. There was no super excelling player when it comes to scoring tries. Well, I have to tell you, folks, it's not changed at all. We still have a host of players on 4 tries. Nanukisi, of course, is 1. Jimeli Gino, Joshua Barrett, and Theo Clark, all from the Flakers. And then we have Liam Symes-Wells from the All Flakes and Kieran Jones from the Guardians. It's so amazing that there's not one Dragons player in that top 6 players with 4 tries. So I'd imagine there's a few of them on 3, but isn't it amazing how that works? I hope someone has a Stormer and we get an outright leader to award that crown to come the final day of the season. Into the line breaks now, and things are a little bit more clear-cut here. We've got an out-and-out leader, and that is Jimeli Gino from the Flakers. Now, he is obviously a try scorer, but he's a try creator as well. Playing on the wing or a scrum half, he's always in a position that can create. Right behind him, though, is Samo Coop. Now, the All Flakes fly half has been an integral part of how this side has gone too, and they'll be hoping he can lift the side going into these final 3 weeks. Further on behind that, other Brunso. This man, amazingly, from the Dragons, just seems to keep performing. He's had 8 line breaks, and the forward doing the work of the backs. We have 2 men sitting on 7, both from the Flakers, Andre Miller and Joshua Barrett, rounding out that top 5. Moving into the top point scorers, and, well, if you watched last round's Team of the Week You know, there's one man who is comfortably leading the way after having a simply phenomenal round 7 clash, and that is Dom Butler from the Guardians of the Crib, who still leads the way on 69 points despite sitting out the last round match, and guarantee he will be back for the big All Flakes match as well. Being the leading point scorer, he's got to be that clutch guy for the Guardians. Sitting in second, Owen Richards from the Flakers, Samu Coop on 38 for the All Flakes. Richards on 41, sorry, forgot to mention that. Andrew Inch from the Dragons on 35, and also Shane O'Sullivan sharing the load at the Dragons on 27 points. So good little mix there with the fly halves, and the goal kickers really are leading that way quite comfortably. Into the leading tackle makers. Now, this is always one that I thought would be good to add in for the forwards. I say this every week, but it seems to be every week we continue doing it, it doesn't end up that way at all. Leading the way, and quite comfortably so as well, is Ken Lynch from the Guardians of the Crib. Now, Ken Lynch is a guy that always plays scrum half, and he just seems to be the guy making all the tackles as well. Fringe defence, I guess you got to give it to him. He is the expert in that area. He's got a couple of guys behind him on 27. Yeah, a whole 4 tackles. Now, a lot of players don't even make 4 tackles over 1 or 2 matches, so a comfortable lead at the moment for Lynch, but it is Saki Gavadi from the All Flakes and Richard Mokwa from the Dragons on 27. Then we have a wee group of players on 26. Adam Conway, another scrum half from the Dragons. Dean Mumberg, a forward, yay, from the All Flakes on 26 as well. Jamali Gino on 26, rounding that out. Okay, that's our 4 statistic leaders. That's the big groups, and they are your leading guys of the competition overall so far. But who are the standout performers of round 8? Well, let's take a look at that now. We'll kick things off in the front row. We've got a really new look front row. Now, normally we've got the guys from the Guardians, the front row squad, the guys like Mike Hunt, who we haven't seen for a couple of weeks now in the team of the week. Those guys, the Friedlanders from the All Flakes, those are guys that normally do occupy these positions. But this week, it's a completely new look. Loose head side, JP Mukoko from the Celtic Dragons. In the middle at hooker, Bob from the Guardians of the Crib. And then on the tight head side, Shady Streetwalker from the All Flakes. How about that, eh? That's a very different front row, but a very well-performed front row as well. Into the second row, and we've got a nice little combination here, which I think would play very well together as well. Gilbert Sanchez from the Flakers and Benjamin Grayson from the All Flakes. Benjamin Grayson, simply brilliant for the All Flakes. His line-out taking was sublime, and that was really the core. Everything else was good, but he was a standout at the set piece. Sanchez has been a standout all season. I think he deserves all the credit going his way as well. The back row, well, I take it back. What I've said last few weeks, this is actually tough to pick because he had a few good performers, but we're completely mixing it around as to where they played. Now, playing at 6 was Max Wilder. I'm moving him to number 8. And we had 6 and 7 were both 7s with Francois Valentine from the Flakers and Johnny DeRossi from the Celtic Dragons. And of course, Wilder at number 8 from the Guardians of the Crib. A very, very good back row. I mean, any side with Francois Valentine and Johnny DeRossi, I mean, if we get team of the season with those two in it, that is going to be, one hell of a devastating back row to come up against for anyone. That is the forward pack, and a very, very good-looking forward pack too, you may well agree. Into the back line, and after looking at those statistic leaders, it's no surprise to see Jamali Gino from the Flakers sitting in there starting at scrum half. But what is a bit of a surprise was the performance from our fly half. Juan Rodriguez from the Guardians of the Crib, I think had one of the best games by a fly half in the whole season. He was simply flawless, Rodriguez, and he is my star man of the round as well. Phenomenal match from the Guardians fly half, and hopefully more from the same as he builds up from an average start. He now looks like quite the player in that number 10 jumper as well. Into midfield, and we've got Richard Mokwa starting at 12 from the Dragons, but here's the man who I didn't think would ever make team of the week, and it's Adam Fleetwood from the All Flakes. Been very average so far in the whole season, but he's getting better, and he's getting better. He scored a brace in round 8 as well, and fully deserves his spot, number 13 jumper, despite the fact he played at 12. We've got to fit those two 12s in. Let's move on to 13. It's all good. We've got the best players in the team. On the wings, well, on the wings, we've got two fullbacks. And I talked a lot about this during the matches as well, about getting these guys into the line who did create a lot from fullback for their respective sides. You're probably not surprised here to see Fergus Lamb on the left and Bogdan Ola on the right. Both were classy. Very, very good players, and I think there's a future for those two on the wings for their respective sides. Lamb from the Guardians, and of course Ola from the Dragons, and it will be his Dragons teammate as well, Tom Charles, at fullback, who was outstanding for the Dragons this week as well. I mean, the Dragons really, they took the bulk of the team of the week, because after that loss to the Guardians, I thought it was going to be an extremely tall order, that they would get anything out of the game against the Flakers. To play how they did and completely change their game style and what was weak about them against the Guardians, they were so strong against the Flakers. So I've got to give a lot to the Dragons there in that round 8 clash, and that is why they have 5 players in the team of the week. That is 1/3 of the team when you've got 4 teams going into it. So it's a huge effort from the Dragons, and well played to those players picking that up. That was the game of the week, no doubt about that, but any sub-clash always is. But there you go, folks. There is your team of the week. Let me know what your thoughts are on the 15 players selected. Do you agree, disagree? Who do you think deserves to be there instead, and what do you think about round 8 that we have just witnessed those last 3 matches? Hope you're all looking forward to round 9 and finally getting the All Flakes into the sub-clash mix. One team enters. The Guardians, they will depart that stage of the competition and go back to just taking on the AI. But it has been an amazing middle stage of the competition, and it is only going to get hotter as it wears on towards those finals matches. That is me for today. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Hope you're enjoying the series as well. Well done to everyone in the team of the week. And until next time, when we kick the round off of our opening game of round 9, the Exeter Chiefs versus the Celtic Dragons. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care.